Am I going?
Yes.
Oh. Hi, welcome back to Sideninehomestead. I'm Jody.
Sean.
He's not a robot. Stop it. So we wanted to give an update. We haven't done an update video on our whole carnivore lifestyle in a while. Today is actually day 86 for us. I know, it's like kind of crazy. When we first started, a lot of the channels out there that talk about it and websites and things, they all say, oh, give it 90 days, 90 days. And now we were just saying yesterday that we can totally see why, because at almost 90 days now, like it's such a difference, even from 30 days. So
Huge difference.
yeah.
From 30 to 90, from 30 to 60 to 90, huge difference. You have to go, if you're going to do it strict for at least 90 days. You have to, in order to feel all the benefits.
I agree. So start with just the basics, the numbers, because that's usually where people wonder too. Like we've been doing this for almost 90 days now. So how much weight have we lost? I just hit 28 pounds today, so I'm real thrilled with that. I don't know what that equates to quite into clothing sizes. Probably 1 to 2 sizes, depending. I did just have to buy a size small top for something, which was like, that's never happened to me, I don't think, ever. So it's been great. How about you?
So I'm down, so we've done a lot of diets, up and down, right? So when we started the carnivore diet, that's what we're talking about, right? Almost 90 days ago. So I'm down 32 pounds.
Yep. We were just saying this morning, joking, that we should call this, we've lost 250 pounds, because over our lifetime and in the 13 years we've been together, cumulative between all of the times that we've tried to lose weight, we've probably lost 250 pounds.
And gained 350 pounds back,
yeah,
right?
That was his response to me. I'm like, oh, thanks a lot, Debbie Downer.
Right? So diets don't work. Lifestyle changes is what works, right? Because you can try any diet, and once you're off your diet, you always, 9 out of 10 people always gain their weight back, right? Because we've done this lifestyle change, and when we talk to people, they're like, oh my God, you guys look great. We're like, well, and then they ask, what are we doing? And then as soon as we say the carnivore lifestyle, it's crazy. Like the facial expressions, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, that's not healthy. There's no way you could do that. That's, I miss fruit too much. There's no way I could do that. And
it's usually more negative than that, though. It's like, what?
Actually.
What about fiber? You need to have fiber. Like that's the majority of the comebacks to us is fiber, right? So yeah, you need fiber if you eat donuts and cookies and pasta and all the man-made stuff and processed food. Yeah, you need a lot of fiber to push that through.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? Because we've talked about the change in your bowels with the carnivore diet. So it's less often, it's less volume.
Less often.
So when you think if you're eating the standard American diet, that's not what we're meant to be eating, and that's why it gets all clogged up, and then you have to push the fiber to try to get it through. And that's a horrible way to live. And you think about like the belly pains, like we joke about it, but
Well, we don't really joke about it. We talk about it.
Yeah, like if I see something, a certain meal somewhere, I'm like, oh, that would send me right to the bathroom. Like I would be a mess. Like, because especially now, because we both feel so good and we're not having any of those issues, to go back to eating like a typical standard American meal in a restaurant, we would be wrecked. And it would be even worse now, I think.
Yeah. I mean, just to even think about it scares me. I mean, it scares me.
I know.
Because we left so much behind. Like when we started, we quit cold turkey everything. We quit drinking any type of alcohol, coffee, everything. Well, I mean, we gave up everything and we started. And, we'll do another video on what we've learned that I wish we knew when we started, because when we started, we had a lot of hiccups. We didn't really know what we were getting into and all that other stuff. But maybe we'll do another video after this video on, what we learned and what we would recommend for new starters, right? So we'll do that video. But so yeah, just thinking about going back to the way things were. I mean, eating all that food that we used to eat, all that processed food and stuff. But, you know,
but here's the thing though too, and we've said this before, but we didn't eat horribly, you know. Most of our cart was fresher food. We tried to buy higher quality food because we didn't want the GMOs and all that. You can see that video. But at the same time, like, that's not to say we didn't eat pizza or...
True.
You know.
So, and we did eat healthier than majority of people, only because I say this is that when we first got together, we ate everything under the sun, all processed food, massive processed food.
I was a huge couponer, and because we had 4 kids at home, and, you know, we needed to do something to help the grocery budget, so I couponed like crazy, and I would get insane amount of food for a very small amount of money. But what are coupons for?
Junk food, processed food.
Frozen waffles.
Frozen
Frozen
pizzas.
this, and, you know, all the processed stuff. So that was where that kind of came in.
So, but you know, somehow we came across the movie...
Food Inc.
Food Inc. So Food Inc. was our first wake-up call, and that was 15 years ago, maybe?
Oh, I've only known you for 13, so probably not 15.
Okay, maybe 12 years ago.
Maybe 12, 11, somewhere around there.
So that was that was our first wake-up call. When we watched that video, it made us disgusted.
Yes, it was like we sat there, you know, you see certain things, and once you learn something, like, your jaw kind of drops. That's how we were. We just sat there, we paused the movie, and we just looked at each other like, oh my God.
And then we went and looked at all of our staples that we usually eat. So,
and really simple things like taco seasoning packets. The junk that was in them was just unbelievable.
Well, that's in everything. But back to, you know, we went through, and that's when we started becoming a little bit more health conscious. And we started eating more organic food. We didn't know about GMOs and all the glyphosate that's in soybeans and corn and everything. You have to watch that video that we put up about GMOs. It's very eye-opening. But anyway, you know, we were eating all the processed food and everything. We watched that movie. It woke us up somewhat, right? Mm-hmm. And then, you know, we started buying fruits, vegetables, trying to lose weight. So we did this diet, up, down, up, down. We did the other diets, up, down, up, down.
And it was like, for me, I never really saw big progress, you know, like you would say, okay, maybe over the course of a month I'd lose 3 pounds, and it was like, oh, it's so exciting, 3 pounds, but like, you couldn't tell, I couldn't tell, you know, nothing.
Yeah, but you starved yourself. Like, you would starve yourself to lose weight,
because that's what you thought you had to do. I'm just going to eat salad, I'm going to have some fruit, a small piece of chicken the size of a deck of cards, only chicken breast because I don't want the fat, you know, like all the typical things that people do to lose weight, and nothing worked. And I was really frustrated.
And then you were like, screw it, I'm going to start eating all this other food. But then again, like I said, we weren't too into processed food at that point, but still, we didn't eat the best food.
But I did a lot of, I did a different plan before we started this, and it was very involved, very heavy on fruits and vegetables and, you know,
salads and stuff.
We were eating so much produce, it was unbelievable. And I wasn't dropping weight.
And neither was I.
Like, it was killing me. And I'm like, I'm doing all this work, because it was a pretty involved as far as meal prep. Like, I did a lot of cooking and prepping things in advance, and it just wasn't working. Like, it was the same 5 pounds.
And you are always hungry when you ate salads.
Yes. So
always. It's so, you know, the whole carnivore lifestyle, you're never hungry. You're always full. And well, let's not jump ahead. So let's jump back to, you know, one of the reasons why we started this. Like, other than the health issue, I guess we kind of hit a roadblock, right? And we were just ho-hum, you know, and just, you know, nothing's working. And I was always overweight. You know, I topped out at 275, which, you know, I've seen other stories where it was way more. And God bless them, because they've lost a lot of weight. But 275 makes your knees hurt, your back hurts, you're totally inflamed, you're miserable, you have no energy. So, you know, I've come down from 275 to 245 is when we kind of started this. But to come down 275 to 245 was a lot of work, and it took years and years and years, because you lose it, you gain it, you get miserable, you're like, screw it, I'm gonna go get donuts. But I think, you know, we were both searching for something. We both weren't happy
Yeah.
with our bodies and
Yeah.
our lack of energy. And then we happened, like we said before, on a video on someone who's really preaching the carnivore lifestyle. We're like, huh, Jody, we're going to try the carnivore lifestyle. You're like, okay, screw it. Let's do it.
Yeah. At that point, it was like, can't hurt to try. Like, you know, I feel
What's
like,
one more diet? Let's
right?
just try one more diet. This diet seems to be helping other people.
Yeah. Let's give it 30 days and see what happens. And we talked about it. Well, do you want to go into like the things now?
Yeah.
Like,
So
okay. One of the big things that has plagued us the entire time that we've known each other was my snoring. And stop it. And I know it was bad, but I don't think I really realized how much it was even hurting me. Like, obviously I knew it was bothering him because he couldn't sleep. He's a very light sleeper. And
way too light.
But I didn't really think, I thought I was, you know, he was the one with the problem because I was sleeping. So I thought. But within 4 days of starting carnivore diet, so what was I down? 3 pounds maybe. So it's not a weight loss thing. It's an inflammation thing. Within 3 or 4 days, I stopped snoring completely.
Thank
like,
you.
It's the weirdest thing. I'm like, that's never happened. And like, I used to blame it on everything. Well, it was too hot in the bedroom. It was too cold in the bedroom. I had a glass of wine before bed. Or I ate too late. You know, I tried everything to try to explain why I snored. And that wasn't it. It was the inflammation. So that was the first big thing. So I feel like everything else aside, like just for our sanity, that was probably the biggest thing, you know, for me anyway. Plus, then I was actually soundly sleeping, so I was waking up very well rested. So it gave me that energy in the morning. You know, I wasn't sluggish. You know, sometimes when you would get to work and it would take till like 9:30 before you really felt like you were awake, where now I hit the ground running at 7 a.m. and I'm ready to go. And the stuff that I normally wouldn't have done until 11, I'm getting done by 8:30, you know, because I'm ready to go and I have that energy because I've slept well. So for me, that was the big thing. And then right before we started carnivore, I was just having this goofy things that I ended up seeing a cardiologist, and he did put me on a low-dose blood pressure pill. My blood pressure was not crazy high. It was in that borderline phase, but I was having some other symptoms with exercise, so he said, let's try this. I said, okay. So I tried it, gave it 30 days. This was probably in the like maybe a month before we started carnivore. I gave it the 30 days, and I was monitoring my pressure every day. It wasn't going down, and I'm like, this is crazy. So then he doubled the dose, which is what happens, right? That's the answer, is more pills, more pills. It's never, let's figure out why. Why is this happening? And I'm a horrible pill taker. I never remember. I even with a reminder on my phone, I'm like, whatever. Maybe I'll take it later or whatever. You know, you're busy. So after maybe a week or so of taking it twice or double the dose, it was still a pretty low dose, but after about a week of that, I kind of just trailed off again, like, and not taking it. But at this point, we were...
Because it wasn't making any changes.
No,
You're like...
I didn't feel any different. My pressure wasn't really going down. I'm like, this is stupid.
And you have a blood pressure cuff, so you tested every day.
Yes, I was very diligent, and I would take it before I took my medication, and then about an hour and a half to 2 hours later to see, you know, was there a difference? And I logged it. I have a whole thing on my phone of all my logs of the different readings. And it wasn't doing anything. So I stopped taking it, like, you know, you're not supposed to do, but I did it anyway. And sure enough, so we were sitting on the couch maybe a week or two ago, and he mentioned something. We were just talking about blood pressure. So I went and got my cuff, and I measured my blood pressure. It's the lowest it's been in, I don't know, how old am I? It's probably at least 15 years. So no medication, nothing to do. I'm not snoring. The cardiologist wanted me to have a sleep study because I was on my way to a CPAP machine. I can guarantee that. And a blood pressure pill. Lord knows what other pills they would try because that blood pressure wasn't working. So I'm sure there would have been another one. And then I'm sure there would have been a cholesterol. You know, it was just, you could just see that I was starting to climb that typical healthcare mountain of all the interventions that they give you. And it's like, no,
and all the pharmaceuticals.
I'm not doing that. So now my blood pressure is perfectly normal. I'm not having any issues with that. not snoring, so I don't need to worry about a sleep study and a CPAP. Like, everything's been great. So for me, those are the big things aside from the weight loss. Obviously, the weight loss is wonderful. I don't have aches and pains in my knees, and I've had histories of 3 broken ankles in my lifetime, and they don't hurt anymore. Like, I don't have any aches and pains at all. So those are all my benefits that I've had over these 85
That's not all
days.
of them. That's just a few
Yeah,
that we
I
just
mean,
want to do, because we don't want this to
the
go on and
big
on.
basic things.
Yeah.
Like the blood pressure, the snoring, the weight loss, aches and pains. Those are my biggies.
So yeah, I mean, so aches and pains, those are all gone too for me. But my 2 big ones, one was because we weren't eating bad, like we said, but glyphosate just gives me heartburn all the time, right?
It does.
So, and I don't drink it. Whenever I eat something that's like wheat-based,
Perhaps that's the problem.
take a shot of that, right? I didn't have any grass growing behind my ears. No, but for real. So every day, every night, I would take my Lanta. Every night. Whenever we go to a family gathering and they make homemade food at family gatherings, I still get heart-wrenching heartburn because, you have to be really careful about the ingredients, Even though you're making something from scratch, some of those scratch items that you use aren't good for you.
Yeah.
So, I got to the point where I couldn't eat out anywhere unless I knew specifically what the food was, because every night I'd go home and I'd just be drinking my Lanta all night. And I would have to have at least 4 or 5 swigs. I don't use a spoon. That's for amateurs, right? I got to the point where I almost put a straw in it. But I mean, that masks what the underlying issue is. Obviously, you have some kind of acid problem, and when you take the Mylanta, you're just masking that problem. I mean, so there's ways of fixing it, but it's brutal to go through it, and I just didn't want to do it. Like, you'd have to take apple cider vinegar, deal with the heartburn for several weeks or something. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, but once we started, I mean,
It was
gone.
fast.
It was super fast. So that was one thing. No more Mylanta. And, I was destroying, it was getting raw. And who knows what would have happened, what kind of cancer I would have ended up getting, right?
Yeah.
The other thing that was huge was I had SIBO.
Yeah.
Yeah, with an O. And I forget.
Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth.
Yes. So too much bacteria was building up in my intestines. And whenever I would eat something, for the first bite, first swallow, I would get this shooting, god-awful pain in my stomach. It hurt where I would have to stop. And then it would go away. It would last 5 seconds, and it would always be on the first bite. And that was going on for like 2 weeks before we started our diet. I was like, I got to talk to the doctors.
Yeah.
Because I was scared. I didn't know what was going on, right? So I think within, like we said, 2-3 days, it was that fast that pain went away.
And we were shocked because right before that we were talking. He was like, well, what do I do? Since we're newer to this area, he has to get established with a new PCP. And I'm like, well, you're going to need a GI doctor. He's going to want to scope you. He's going to want to do this, and he's going to put you on this. Like, what's going to happen. And again, so it's just like I said for myself, we were both kind of climbing that mountain of, do this test, do that test, take this pill, have this machine.
And that kind of led us to the carnivore too. So the reason why we wanted to start it. So it wasn't, hey, look, this guy's doing it, he's losing weight, let's do it. No, it was more of like, we're getting older, and we are starting to see our future of big pharma. So that's kind of our background, so to speak, to kind of get to where we are. So let's kind of change pace there, because that's kind of what everybody talks about, and we need to go through that faster in the future. But there's just so many people joining the carnivore lifestyle. Like what we like to say, it's not a diet. It's not something that you start and stop. Whenever we say to friends or family or people that we meet, right, that we're on the carnivore diet, they're like, oh, I tried that, it didn't work.
We get that a lot.
Like, you tried it?
Yeah.
It's not really a diet. Like,
no.
It's like a lifestyle change. And we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
It's because I think we're going to do this forever. I mean, we'll stay heavy carnivore, we may introduce some things back into our
Maybe.
diet, like maybe coffee. We'll never, I don't think we'll eat bread in the future, and any type of bread. I mean,
Probably not. I mean, unless we make it ourselves and we know that
like
we
a
have,
flatbread or something.
yeah, something like that. I mean, I know that there's a lot of carnivore recipes out there, and
Which we're gonna
I've
try.
looked at them, and I'm like, okay, so a couple of different special ingredients that I've had to order because I couldn't find locally. So those are on my list that hopefully through once we get into some of the colder weather where we're in kind of more stuck inside, and we want to try some of those things.
And that's one of the reasons why we built this building, was so, the table back here, we're going to have a little gas grill and a skillet. And this is where we're going to make a lot of our food. We're going to hang out in here, just someplace different than being in the house. So we're going to do a lot of cooking in here, a lot of carnivore cooking. So watch for those videos. Those should be fun. And our buddy Lloyd here will help us.
Yeah, Lloyd, he can make us coffee, maybe, or a Bloody Mary.
Meat in our cart.
Yes.
And there'd be vegetables.
Fruits and
We did a
vegetables.
lot of fresh shopping on a regular, like every week we would buy lots of fresh vegetables and fruits and all that, and then we would have some meat. But we always grew up, you don't eat meat, so we never really ate a lot of meat. I'm sidetracking us again.
You are completely.
I know, but like we've never really eaten a lot of protein at one sitting.
No, like when the kids were growing up, we were like, here, eat these potatoes. You love potatoes because it was cheap,
And chicken was
chicken
cheap
was
too.
cheap, so it was cheaper than buying a big roast or buying, because with 6 people and 3 teenage boys, that would have been really expensive.
Yeah, we did 2 walkthroughs, one through Sam's Club, one through Costco, and we went to a lot of the stuff and we were reading the ingredients, and it's just horrific what they put in everything. Those 2 videos did well. I mean, if you have time, you should probably watch those 2 because it was eye-opening, especially the salmon, where the light salmon was farm raised, and the only reason it was like light orange is because they add color through feed. So they dye the salmon to look like light orange. And then when you walk down the row of the freezer or the refrigerated aisle with the rest of the seafood, and around on the back, they have to hide it, is the wild caught salmon, because they can't have the 2 together, because the wild caught salmon was this nice dark orange with all the omega-3s, the 6s, everything. For the reason why you even eat salmon is for all the nutritional value, right?
Yeah.
So they have the orange wild caught way far away, and it's a little bit more money, but I mean, you're eating this farm raised stuff that, like, is there any nutritional value?
No.
You could eat fish sticks. Do they even make fish sticks anymore?
I don't know.
They probably do. All right, so this is an update, just a personal update that we're sharing with all of you. So we've been doing this for almost.
Today's day 86.
Today's day 86, and we've come a far way, a long way, and just by dropping the weight and not taking any of the pharmaceuticals, and all of our health issues are gone and whatnot. So we're feeling better. We're feeling stronger, which is amazing to us.
And energy. We have energy, so we get stuff done.
Yeah, and just finishing up this place here is going to be nice.
Yeah.
We'll do some video updates on this as well. But anyway, now that I think we got a lot of energy back and we're feeling great, so we're decided now we're going to join the gym. We're going to start working out to try to get to that next level, because just doing carnivore is great. I mean, you lose weight, but you gotta get moving. So not that we don't move a lot around here with everything that we do. It's
he moves more than me because I work in an office, so I do sit a lot with meetings and things like that. I do try, as you guys have maybe seen in some of our shorts, I try to get outside and go for a walk. We have a nice walking trail at work, but schedules being what they are, it's not always not good to do that. Depending on my schedule. The weather, like it's just started raining now, and now we're going to be coming into the colder weather, so depending on a lot of different factors, so I can't always get out and walk. So that's one thing that we've talked about. It would be great if we could do that, and we have plans on our own property to have more ability to do some hiking and things like that. But
we were cutting trails because we have
Yeah.
21 acres, and I would say maybe 15 of them are wooded, and we did cut trails already.
Yeah.
So we'll finish that, and then we'll take some video through the trails, maybe even stop in the woods and do some videos, some updates.
There's
That
some
might
nice
be fun.
areas back there that are, you know, really nice. And we're fortunate because our woods backs up to, well, it used to be, it's not state game lands.
No, it's privately owned. They use
Yeah.
for timber. It's like 750 acres, I
Yeah.
think. So they let the trees grow and timber them, right? So behind our acreage, there's another huge woods.
So we don't have to worry about, you know, houses or things like that. You know, the only thing you guys probably have heard in other videos is the ATV riding and things like that. So
Yeah, that's
are
over on other property.
people that, you know, that's more back that way, where for us, our property kind of goes back and then over. Older, you gotta, you know, make sure you're keeping up that bone density, because that's another issue. You know, as you get older, your bone density can decrease. So lifting weights, doing any kind of weight training, whether it's just your body weight or with hand weights or whatever, is really good for your bone health.
Yeah, and saying that though, I was always heavy. I don't know if I was trying to lead to that, and I didn't, but you know, I was always on the kicks, fit by 30.
Oh yeah.
Right, because by 30, I was gaining a lot of weight, right? And I was like, oh, 30 came and went. What happened, right? Then I was like, oh, fit by 40. I'll be on Men's Health, right? No, fit by 40, that went pretty fast too. And I'm like, okay, you know, this decade I'm gonna do it. Fit by 50, definitely. I will be fit come high water. I'm gonna be fit by 50. So I started Carnivore at the age of 53, 54, 53?
I don't know how old you are. I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, it wasn't 50. Let's just put it that way.
No.
It was after 50.
So I'll definitely be fit by 60.
I told him I'll be fit by 50 though. I have a year and a half, something like that.
Yes. So we're just trying as hard as we can.
Yeah, and so
And it's not even that hard. It's actually quite easy.
So, and we say this like to each other every couple days. Like, it's just so bizarre. It's just so weird. Like today we had our breakfast at, I don't know, 9 o'clock, eggs, bacon, and a little bit of leftover steak that we had. And it's 2, 3.
So we had 2 eggs.
340.
We had what, 2 eggs and maybe a piece of steak each.
Yeah,
it wasn't
it
very
was small.
big, very
Yeah.
small, and 2 pieces of
Couple
bacon.
pieces of bacon.
And we've been full all day.
Yeah.
And it's what time?
It's 340.
3:40. So
So it's from 9.
but we're looking forward because Jody made a really good pot roast yesterday, and we're going to put that video out soon too.
Yes.
Because I think that was better than a brisket.
I know, he keeps saying it. So I'm curious to see how it'll reheat. I think it'll be fine, but
But that's what we're eating for dinner.
anyway, he's been looking forward to it all day.
Everybody's all, well, I mean, most people are like all flabby with no muscle. I mean, I had no muscle because we didn't really work out.
Yeah.
But just by eating protein, a lot of steaks, right?
A lot of eggs.
It's amazing that it just builds muscle. And,
Yeah.
you know, all people who lift weights and work out, what do? They drink protein drinks,
Yeah,
right?
They focus heavy on protein, so it makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so how do we want to wrap this one up? So, I mean, we're sticking strong.
Yeah.
We're going to keep doing this. We're not going to change.
No, we feel really good. Like we said, you know, the coffee thing. I actually don't miss it. I like the taste of coffee, so that's like my thing.
Yeah, but
I
it's
don't
not
need it
coffee,
for
though. When you say coffee, it's not coffee.
Stop. It's coffee like most people drink. Like, okay.
Most people.
Yes, most people out there drink coffee with creamer in it, and they add some kind of sweetener to it. Most people do. There's weirdos out there, and they know who they are, who drink black coffee that's like tar. Then you're kind of in the middle of the road. He puts some creamer in it, but nothing sweet, so it still tastes like tar. It just looks like a light tar. So, ugh. But anyway, I do love my coffee. So that is something. I don't miss the caffeine because I don't need it. I never really drank it for the caffeine, but I miss that ritual of it. And like we said before, and I think in another video, like a rainy afternoon like today, we would sit down and we'd have our coffee and, you know, maybe watch a couple YouTube videos or whatever, watch a movie and
Have a Pop-Tart.
When was the last time you bought Pop-Tarts?
It's been since we watched Fat, Dumb, and Nearly Dead. That was a really good video too.
That wasn't what it's called.
What was that?
Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead.
Okay.
That was the one where the guy did a juicing thing where he had nothing but juice. Like he juiced all the vegetables and everything. So we went through that phase. Add that to the diet list.
We did juice.
We bought the massive juicer, remember? And we had all this kale and like we've done it all. Yeah, and that was the worst one. Let me tell you, because like I'm like I want to chew something. I just need to chew anything. Like everything was green and it was in a liquid form. It was so bad. But anyway. We digress.
I forgot about that.
That was horrible,
yeah.
wasn't it?
Oh my gosh, we went through so many crazy diets.
Yeah, we would.
And it was diets because we were only doing it for a short period of time.
Right.
As not, you know, the carnivore lifestyle is different to us.
It is. I think because it just seems so sustainable.
And who doesn't want to eat a steak every night?
Right.
Or, you know, every other night?
Yeah.
I mean, you get a lot of good food to eat. Oh, I have to eat a steak tonight.
You
right?
Poor thing.
I know, you poor thing. You have to eat a steak.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it. This is our 85-day update.
I thought it was 86.
Well, we're on 86. We've completed 85.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm right, of course. Anyway, so we appreciate you watching. Hope you stay tuned. Check out some of our other videos. We have, like Sean said, we have those couple shopping videos with Costco and Sam's Club. There's the great one on GMOs. And you can look back from some of our other update videos if you kind of want to hear more about some of the different topics. We kind of tried to label them about what we talked about on those. So thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
Thanks.